Everyone, fasten your seatbelts, because what just happened is nearly inconceivable. Yes, you read correctly. Rasheeda and Karlie let loose their entire wrath on Yandy and Kimbella, resulting in a scene right out of a dramatic soap opera. I thought the drama had peaked, but I was mistaken. Yandy's frantic pleas for assistance were caught on tape during this crazy new altercation, which escalated the chaos to previously unthinkable levels. You really have to see it to believe it. But really, did you really think that these reality TV stars would suddenly change their ways and start acting nice? What could have caused this explosive outburst? Was it lingering tension, betrayal, or just someone losing it from their lives full of drama? Whatever the reason, the internet is going crazy with conspiracy theories. And we know the true tale of what caused the mayhem. Warning, that is not at all what you were hoping for. We're going to break it all down, so grab some popcorn. You just cannot miss this type of unrelenting chaos, which ranges from vicious assaults to full-fledged shouting fights. This is the type of drama that goes viral, I promise you. The word viral was all over it. Hold on tight, because we are going to tell you something you didn't even know you needed to hear. ... Imagine this. It was supposed to be a typical day, with people going about their daily lives and paying little attention to the typical chaos brought on by reality TV and the Love and Hip Hop crew. Then, all of a sudden, chaos broke out, and Rasheeda and Karlie Redd, two of the most notorious characters in the scene, completely lost it on Yandy and Kimbella. Yes, you heard correctly. After years of surfing the never-ending waves of drama, Rasheeda and Karlie Redd abruptly decided they had had enough. This was no longer about making light of one another. No, this was at a completely new level. Let's take a quick look back. Everyone is familiar with Rasheeda, the queen of controversy, who has argued with almost every cast member at some point. She has experienced her fair share of outbursts and heated disagreements, but this time was completely different. Rasheeda has always been regarded as the fighter who never backs down and the unshakable one. But when Karlie Redd, who is essentially the living embodiment of drama, enters the picture, you know that things are going to get out of hand. And let's not forget Yandy Smith, who is constantly trying to wear the peacemaker's crown and bring order to the chaos. It appears that she poked the wrong bear this time. Even the most patient person has a breaking point, as we are all aware. And that's precisely what happened right now. Nobody ever imagined Yandy would become involved in such a dramatic and volatile situation. However, she finds herself in the midst of a vicious takedown that no one anticipated. Here's where it gets really juicy. How did this all begin? And why did Kimbella get caught up in this tornado of chaos? Let's go back in time because, trust me, this wasn't just any blow-up. The long, simmering animosity that Rasheeda and Karlie Redd have for Yandy and Kimbella dates back a long way. You don't decide to act savagely on someone out of the blue one morning. It is always preceded by a gradual burn. Particularly on reality TV, drama is seldom by chance. It is expertly. This tension wasn't suddenly present. It was gradually fostered by resentment from the past, misunderstandings, and, of course, a good dose of traditional jealousy. We must look at the past between Yandy and Rasheeda in order to fully understand why this explosion happened. There had been an unspoken rivalry brewing under the surface from the start. Although they appeared to get along well in public, we are all aware of what actually occurs when the cameras are not rolling. Rasheeda has always viewed Yandy as a rival in the age-old contest to see who is more respected and successful. Naturally, add a little Karlie and some Karlie Redd mayhem, and you've got the makings of a perfect storm. A ticking time bomb that is about to detonate. However, this is when it becomes quite intriguing. The Kimbella. She spent years living in the shadow of others, constantly caught up in their mess, and never given the opportunity to shine. That is, up until today. Kimbella's involvement in this vicious takedown wasn't a coincidental turn of events. She has spent far too much time in the background, but now she is taking center stage and controlling her story like never before. At this point, everything shifts. This was the tipping moment. It wasn't only a straightforward dispute or a furious verbal exchange. No.
Karlie Redd and Rasheeda went all out on Yandy and Kimbella. And you know what's even more startling about this? Yandy's frantic cries for assistance. Yes, you heard correctly. Yandy, the lady who has always maintained authority and managed every. The situation with ease was really unexpected. It was Yandy who required assistance at that precise moment. Imagine it. You're having a casual conversation, thinking everything is good, then suddenly Karlie Redd and Rasheeda detonate like two ticking time bombs. Karlie Redd and Rasheeda vented their rage, the violence, insults, and personal assaults. All of them struck Kimbella and Yandy with the power of a freight train. It was one of those unanticipated times when everything changed drastically, and Yandy didn't see it coming. Her expression of disbelief was wonderful and, to be honest, a little frightening. She was hit like a ton of bricks by the reality of what was unfolding. However, we must not overlook Karlie Redd's role in this chaos. This woman is not only a big talker, she is prepared to support whatever. Karlie has consistently been recognized for having a fiery and erratic personality. However, things truly took a turn for the worse when she partnered with Rasheeda. Karlie has always been in the center of the drama, causing trouble like an experienced pro. Therefore, when she launched into this heated argument, it didn't simply become worse, it blew up. But why did it get so out of control? Was it motivated by old grudges? Or was there something deeper, more personal, or more dangerous at play? The truth is that we don't fully know, which is what makes this story so compelling. The chaos, tension, and sheer energy of the moment felt like watching an action movie play out live. Yandy, Rasheeda. Although Kimbella and Karlie have been together for years, this might be the turning point. Don't be deceived into believing that this was a one-off occurrence, though, since the way things turned out in that one dramatic moment might set the stage for drama like we've never seen before. No, this incident wasn't isolated. Rather, it was the result of years of pent-up anger and simmering animosity. All of the backstabbings, digs, passive-aggressive remarks, and comments led up to this point. This wasn't only a straightforward claim. No, the world watched as years' worth of suppressed feelings finally reached a breaking point. In the next section, we'll dissect the pandemonium that ensued after this brutal confrontation. We'll go into the aftermath, the emotions and the drama that had social media in a frenzy as we examine what actually transpired behind the scenes, as Yandy's frantic pleas for assistance filled the radio. However, let's pause for a moment to consider this startling development. People, this is only the beginning. The narrative is far from ended. Rasheeda and Karlie Redd's vicious attack on Yandy and Kimbella wasn't a one-off occurrence. Instead, it turned into something far more significant than anybody could have predicted. Yandy's frantic screams for assistance didn't only remain in that room after that dramatic outburst, they reverberated around social media, igniting a flurry of responses. Both supporters and detractors were eager to share their own ideas about what actually transpired. Let's now examine what transpired just after the commotion broke out. People were left completely astonished, and by stunned, I mean incredulous. This specific occurrence managed to send shockwaves across the whole fan base, even though reality TV stars are accustomed to drama and difficult times. Instead of merely lashing out, Rasheeda and Karlie Redd took aim. This wasn't just a small argument or a few insults. The venom in their words and the unadulterated passion underneath every move escalated into a full-fledged verbal battle. No, this was a full-scale assault that left the room and social media in utter disarray. Let us dissect it. Let's discuss what transpired once the cameras ceased to roll. Sources close to the incident claim that they are authentic and not staged for dramatic effect. Imagine Yandy and Kimbella still absorbing what had just happened. They were in complete shock, their brains racing. The room was utter mayhem. You could almost hear what they were thinking. Did that just happen? Or is this even real? Here's the twist, though. Nobody anticipated what transpired next from these reality stars. In actuality, Rasheeda and Karlie Redd have a purpose, sort of, and weren't just acting out of a fit of rage. Recall the long simmering animosity that had been developing between Rasheeda and Yandy. It turns out that there was more to it than small talk or petty drama. Oh no, this was the outcome of something far more profound. Trustworthy sources. It was revealed that Rasheeda's resentment of Yandy was about respect rather than business or insignificant arguments. As you can see, Rasheeda had been working extremely hard to establish herself as a successful entrepreneur and not just to be a reality TV star. She had started companies, introduced product lines, and been putting in a lot of overtime. Yandy's image, meanwhile, was the epitome of beauty. Rasheeda felt that Yandy was always positioned as the ideal celebrity. The person who scores endorsements for the major gigs is the peacekeeper. Rasheeda had had enough of being the supporting star and couldn't stand it any longer. Additionally, you know how to make things interesting, because you've been in the game as long as Rasheeda and Karlie Redd. It resembled an ideal storm. You combine all that pent-up anger with Karlie Redd's typical turmoil. You may expect pandemonium when you combine that with Karlie's erratic energy. Remember that Karlie has never been one to play nice. She is an expert at creating chaos, igniting feuds, and causing drama. Thus, she immediately intervened when she noticed Rasheeda's rage rising. Karlie's hallmark move is that she takes center stage when things go out of control, making sure that nobody forgets who is making the decisions. Let's not discount Kimbella's involvement in this, though. She wasn't really a passive observer. Keep in mind that while the others enjoyed the limelight, Kimbella was always on the sidelines. She had lost her moment to shine, but after being pulled into the chaos, she made it plain that she wouldn't just watch Rasheeda and Karlie rule. She had reached her breaking point. You could see her attempting to defend herself, but let's be honest, she wasn't prepared for what was about to happen. Rasheeda and Karlie were in full attack mode, and maintaining composure while the hurricane of rage is roaring down is no easy task. What did the general people think of all the responses? Utterly insane. Every moment of the fight is broken down by fans who rush to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, saturating social media with memes, crazy notions, and complete bullshit regarding the cause. Before anyone realized it, Team Yandy was rising more quickly than you could blink, because some people were ready to take sides. Everyone had an opinion about who was right and who was wrong, including their grandmother. Here's the twist, though. Fans weren't very offended by the vicious attack. Rather, what really grabbed everyone's attention was how serious the issue was. Fans want the back and forth, the in-depth analysis of who is right and who is wrong, and how each reality TV star will handle what comes next. They aren't simply watching for the drama. Everyone was watching the stars to see if Rasheeda and Karlie would actually be held accountable for their deeds, or if it would all end up being just another wild event in their dramatic life. Then, rumors began to circulate. Because really, when rumor is so much more enjoyable, who needs the truth? According to sources, Yandy had been privately upset with Rasheeda and Karlie over the attack, and she was reportedly discussing future legal action with her lawyer. Yandy, who is renowned for her composed manner and tactful attitude, has never been involved in anything like that. It was significant to learn that she was contemplating legal alternatives. What did this imply for these celebrities' futures? Would Rasheeda and Karlie experience some kind of financial repercussions if their actions caused a larger wave of criticism? The true concern was whether this would lead to public outrage that may jeopardize their careers. People were left to wonder if it was their last moment, or if it was simply another careless incident that would pass. Not to be overlooked are the supporters. The emotions of Rasheeda and Karlie supporters were everywhere. Some supporters were fervently supporting Yandy, claiming that nobody should be treated that way. However, there were also some who supported Rasheeda and Karlie, saying that it was past time for someone to remove Yandy's meticulously manicured, flawless image. Here's the catch, though. There was greater division in public opinion. More than ever, public sentiment started to change. As the conversation progressed, it became evident that wasn't only an isolated incident or a normal reality TV altercation, but rather an intense altercation that may have far-reaching effects on the ladies involved. We'll go even farther into the aftermath of this vicious incident in the next section. we'll examine the larger subject and dissect the possible legal and professional repercussions of this drama. Although the dust may be falling, believe me when I say that the fallout from this crazy conflict is far from finished. Will this be the end of Yandy's position as the ultimate mediator? Or will it just be another chapter in her convoluted reality TV journey? Rethink your assumption that the drama will end with a few contentious arguments and irate social media posts. The actual consequences of Rasheeda and Karlie Redd's vicious assault on Yandy and Kimbella are just getting started. Let's face it, reality TV stars, particularly those with volatile personalities, are never as straightforward as they seem. Fasten your seatbelts because this journey is about to get much more bumpy. This is not something that will simply go away. Not with everyone watching, and especially not with the stakes so high. The moment that grabbed everyone's attention, the real impact came after, and it's been far more intense than anyone anticipated. It may have been Yandy's cry for assistance. The public's response was overwhelmingly positive. There were more than a few posts on social media. No, the consequences of this vicious attack spread quickly and like wildfire. Additionally, one of the first major repercussions of the lawsuit was that Yandy wasn't ignoring the matter. Naturally, trustworthy sources show that she didn't waste any time in getting in touch with her lawyer to ask for advice on whether she had any reason to take action. Given the mental trauma she had experienced, could she sue Rasheeda and Karlie for the attack? Given the flurry of conjecture and the deluge of Yandy fans on social media, was there a case for personal injury? Fans vehemently debated whether Yandy should file charges or let the matter go in polls and surveys that appeared on various sites. Reality TV legal disputes are nothing new. In the past, we have witnessed celebrities file lawsuits for emotional distress, slander, and even violent altercations. However, this instance is unique. It was a vicious verbal attack that was captured on tape and aired to millions of people, not just a heated argument. It was about the psychological damage of being publicly humiliated on national television, not simply about cuts or bruises. Dealing with a quarrel behind closed doors is one thing, but was a full-on spectacle that was taking place in front of the entire globe. However, things reach new level when your rage is publicly shown, and the stakes increase even further when Yandy and others are involved, who have always made an effort to project a tidy and professional image. What were the additional repercussions when legal action was considered? Now let's discuss the response from the people, because more than just Yandy's admirers were responding with no. Karlie and Rasheeda's followers were equally incensed, but in the opposite way. Fans weren't exactly prepared to let their beloved celebrities get dragged through the dirt without speaking up, and these ladies were already well known for their fearless personalities and unrestrained attitudes. For this reason, hashtags like #LHHATL were used. As people came together in support of the two celebrities, Team Rasheed and even Rasheeda for president began to gain popularity. Some admirers even went so far as to say that Yandy deserved what she received, claiming that Karlie and Rasheeda were simply fed up with her pious demeanor. Let's now discuss how all of this turbulence affected each person's career. To put it another way, was more than simply a battle. It was a cultural split. Believe me, the repercussions were extensive. Rasheeda had put in to make a name for herself outside of reality TV by starting a profitable clothing line, pursuing business endeavors, and even dabbling in music. But following this spectacular drama, things became tricky. The way the general people viewed her brand changed. It's challenging to maintain your reputation when your name starts to conjure up images of controversy. Selling a high-end item in a discount retailer is like trying to sell it. The value isn't the same. It would be increasingly difficult for Rasheeda to remove herself from the problem the more her name is associated with this drama. Karlie read well. Karlie has thrived on controversy throughout her career. Chaos on the verge of madness and embracing drama as if it were second nature are the foundations of her brand. Since Karlie made this world for herself, you might say that she is somewhat shielded from the repercussions compared to Rasheeda, yet even Karlie was not impervious to the rumors. Rumors started to circulate as the drama developed. Was there a secret motive for Karlie's involvement? Some conjectured that Karlie's motivation for participating in the assault was jealousy of Yandy's fame. Regardless of the reason, others contended that it was her attempt to establish herself, particularly after feeling eclipsed by contestants like Rasheeda. Karlie's behavior did more than simply stoke the flames. The audience was thrown into a frenzy as they revealed a completely new set of problems. However, the harm didn't stop with the drama playing out on screen. Behind the scenes, tensions were equally high. According to reports, Rasheeda and Karlie were both frantically trying to preserve their public personas. According to sources, they were exerting extra effort to manage the conversation around the confrontation, refocus attention on their professions rather than their behavior. According to reports, Rasheeda and Karlie met behind closed doors with their public relations teams in an attempt to reframe the story. However, the crucial question still stood. Were they sincerely trying to patch things up with Yandy and Kimbella, or were they just trying to save reputations? Although it's difficult to tell with certainty, one thing is certain. Every step was being observed by the media. According to Sauce, in the reality TV industry, there is no such thing as negative PR. However, even in this chaotic world, one can only transform so much negative attention into something constructive. Additionally, the likelihood of a full-scale network intervention became more real as the controversy escalated. While it's one thing when fans and celebrities are embroiled in drama, it's quite another when the network steps in. You can be sure that the executives will start to raise their eyebrows when a show like Love and Hip Hop becomes involved in controversy. It's not just about the sensational drama anymore, it's about the long-term effects of this scandal. Will it leave a permanent mark on their careers, or can they weather the storm and recover like they always have? And then there are the fans. Will there be an official investigation into the incident? Will the network step in and pressure the women to make amends? Or will just fan the flames and make the show even more explosive than before? Fans have been in the thick of things, supporting their favorite artists and even igniting new online movements, while Rasheeda Karlie, Yandy, and Kimbella are caught up in the maelstrom they've created. However, this is the actual query. How much longer will fans support these celebrities when it seems like their lives are getting worse every day? Will be the last straw, or just another chapter in the ongoing drama? Will these women's lives end now, or will they manage to emerge from this mess stronger and more well-liked than before as the drama plays out? There is little doubt that Kimbella and Rasheeda Karlie and Yandy will dominate the debate for a very long time. Who knows what will happen next, but you can be sure we'll be here to walk you through every step of it. Do you believe that the explosive attack by Rasheeda and Karlie Redd on Yandy and Kimbella was a one-off incident? Or do you think there is more to this issue than we even know? Would the public forgive them and move on? Or might this drama have a long-term effect on their careers? We'd want to know what you think. Leave a remark below. Additionally, don't forget to click the like button if you want to see more incredible tales like this one. To ensure you don't miss any updates, please subscribe and hit the bell. Await the next development in this ever-changing story.